Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We just had breaking news about, a few hours ago, late last night. Elon Musk dropped a new demo of Optimus. This time, Optimus has learned how to kung fu fight. We're going to compare that video against the recent demos of other bots where they were also fighting and doing some things. Interestingly, Ashok Swami, the vice president of Autonomy, he dropped a note as well saying that they are unifying the AI for autonomous vehicles with these autonomous robots. And so we brought them together here with us today, two experts. You got Dr. Scott Walter. He's a two-time robotics company founder. He's our expert in human and robots. And we got Dr. John Gibbs. He is a professor of AI. He's our expert in AI and autonomy, FSD, and now robots as well. So thank you both. Thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and play the video.
I'm going to jump in real quick and say I have a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo also, so I have some experience in this. Yeah,
you can tell us.
And Herbert couldn't get James Dalma because he's in Japan.
Oh, well.
I am going on vacation and I'm meeting James, and guess what? We're going to be meeting in Kyoto, so it'll be fun.
Wow, great.
Let's go ahead and play the video, and you guys can react to it. A lot there shown. There's so many things we could talk about. But first of all, I just absolutely love it that they just took a video, like it wasn't meant for, highly produced. They just took a video and they just went ahead and shared it. What do you guys think, Scott? What'd you see there? I'll play it while you're talking.
I'm assuming that this is a video that was shot on Elon's phone, because he usually when he posts things, it comes right off it. And the surprising thing is that he did it in landscape this time. Now, the interesting things is that, there's been confirmation that this is not teleoperated.
Yeah.
There's some Easter eggs in the background and everything else. You see the person in the gray shirt. He more than likely is just moving the bridge crane around there, which is used to make sure that Optimus falls down, nothing gets broken. He may also have like an e-stop, because right at the end, he was like a little bit concerned something about some hand motion, because you'll notice when the opponent kind of comes in and pushes Optimus's hands are kind of frozen momentarily, almost like they said that was probably set up to say it's now safe to go in and make that push. Otherwise, he could accidentally be struck by Optimus. So there's a lot of things that's rather interesting. It's one thing to have the two of them separated, moving around and doing a choreography. But when you start to get in very close, you're going to be concerned. It's like, okay, there's some safety issues here. You could be accidentally struck or punched. So I'm sure there's some safety protocols that are being enforced right now. And again, while you've probably got someone there, and you may even have another person off screen that's just sitting there, just waiting to go e-stop like that if you see something wrong.
And also there's clearly people that guy in the back is talking to at the end when he's discussing that. So there's a bunch more people in the background than they're there. Yes. I have to say my first reaction on watching this morning was, holy crap, I didn't know that Optimus could move this fast, because it's very impressive to see the speed at which these actuators that didn't appear, we didn't even know if mechanically they could go that quickly. So it's very cool to see that ability within Optimus. And then, of course, obviously, the big question is, what the hell is going on? Because we were specifically told it's not fully AI, but also it's not fully teleoperated. So what is that? Is it just sort of a memorized sequence? Yeah.
John, who said that it's not fully AI?
It was, that was that guy.
Because this is what happened. This Devin Olsen asked teleoperated or AI powered, and Elon said AI, not teleoperated.
Okay, well then where did you find that? That must have been recent. So I didn't see that one. So yeah. I thought it was, somebody said it wasn't teleoperated, but also wasn't fully AI. That was the more refined thing, but I didn't know what that meant.
Okay, here's what I have. It's from Jarek Liu.
Yeah,
who is a member of the team.
Yeah.
Optimus demonstrating some fluid kung fu moves while being robust. Not AI generated, but powered by AI. We're going to extremely talented team solving problems. Pace of progress is astonishing to see. So it's not AI generated, but AI powered.
Yeah, not AI generated, which is Sora 2 and
right.
Yeah, I think that might have been what it meant. Is like this is not CGI or anything like that. This is the real deal. The feeling is that there was a lot of motion capture done of these moves early on, and then put into RL and then trained on that what the sequence of moves would be. Right. And the question is how those moves are being called up. Is it a fully choreographed script where Optimus is just literally just playing everything back? And of course, his opponent knows exactly what the script is. And so he's just going ahead along with it, or is able to sometimes follow along with it, with some occasional impromptu, I guess you could say ad-libbing, like maybe the push sequence. Maybe that's not something that Optimus is not expecting.
Right.
Or only expecting by being prepared, but suddenly it's pushed and now it has to react to it. Right. So there's a certain amount of muscle memory going on. There's a certain amount of perhaps a choreography, but it could also be a little bit different. It could be that there's, let's say, 5 or 6 different sequences, just like if you're playing, Mario Brothers or something like that, where you push a button to say jump, lunge, duck, that kind of thing. So you could have something like that, which is one way. So it's already been pre-trained and someone is selecting. And I think that's how like Unitree and a lot of others do it. They have a lot of these pre-trained sequences and you just push a button and it replays that and just make sure it doesn't fall over and react properly. The other thing is that Optimus is somehow making those decisions on his own. And that's where Ashok's comments, I think, come in. So if you bring up what he said.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what he said. Ashok Swami, who's the vice president of autonomy in charge of autopilot for FSD for the cars, he said this, and now he's in charge of the Optimus program as well. He said, just the beginning. Once the AI models for self-driving and Optimus unify, it's going to be fire. It's a great time to join the Tesla AI team to work on the coolest products on the planet. AI models for self-driving and Optimus. Now, a lot of people, said, yeah, we knew that. He said that a long time ago, but I think many of us did not believe that they really meant it, that there's going to be one AI model.
I want you to understand what's going on. You use FSD all the time, right, Herbert?
All the time.
And what you do is you set in a destination, and the car decides it's going to drive in that destination, and it basically is kind of following, let's say, a choreography at that point, is like how to drive to your destination. But as it's going along the way, it's constantly checking if there's aberrations going on to my set choreography. So it could be like a car suddenly slows down up ahead or swerves in a lane, or a pedestrian jumps out, or there's someone in a bicycle. A parked car door suddenly opens up. It's seeing these things and saying, when that happens, you do this. All right. Yeah. I know we wanted to go straight down the road. So right now, let's say Optimus has a certain choreography. He's got cameras. And we know they can get a little bit of visual cues from humans. I'm not sure how good it is. Some people say they can even read like the flagman and stuff like that at construction sites. I'm not sure if it's down to that level of detail, but let's say it is. Then maybe it just comes down to study the opponent. The opponent is doing something, taking a certain pose. This is how you're supposed to react.
Right.
And John, you know a little bit more about martial arts and what you're supposed to do when your opponent does a particular gesture.
The first thing I want to do is dispel a myth. And I know you don't think this, Scott, but what you said might make people think that there's just a giant if-then list of heuristics.
Right.
That's not the case at all. That used to be the case for driving, right? It used to be like, if you see a red octagonal sign and it's blah, 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 then stop the car, all that kind of stuff. Right. Now what they do is they just throw video data at it, and the car, the internals, the full self-driving learns what those rules are itself. It figures that stuff out.
It learns the rules.
Right. And so that's what
decides what's the best choice at this point based on statistics.
Right. Exactly.
What's the best outcome?
Exactly. So I mean, it's weirdly like heuristics, but it's like it learns it itself instead of us humans having to tell it. So same thing with Optimus. Clearly Optimus, they're not sitting there going like, if person puts arm up, then do this. There's not a human coding that. It's Optimus learning that through reinforcement learning.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted to make sure people didn't get a misunderstanding. Now
let me ask you, is there like a book you can read about martial arts that sort of shows you everything and then shows you exactly how you're supposed to respond to certain things.
I'm
And could
sure
you feed that into an LLM and it would just read the whole thing and just say, "Oh, this is what your typical reaction
Scott,
should
they
be."
can feed you a YouTube channel, a YouTube video of Scott,
Yes.
John Gibbs,
exactly.
and then the bots can learn
There
from
we go.
watching a video,
They can-
maybe.
from watching, but the thing it's written down somewhere. It's already written down what the masters say you should do in a particular situation.
But that doesn't really
And maybe
help.
there's
You
like
gotta
3
do
possible
it.
outcomes you can do. Yeah, you got to do it. But what I'm saying is that's the decision tree,
Well,
right?
so-
you build
so-
the decision
right.
tree from that.
Yeah. So, but I also want to just really carefully notate that this is clearly a form. This is a pre-sequenced
Sequenced.
Yeah, it's all sequenced. They know what's going to happen. So all of that stuff, and including the fact, Scott, we talked about this a little bit earlier, was right before the person, and I'm sorry you don't know his name, sorry, but the guy in black, right before he pushes the bot back, there's like this moment where they freeze. And Scott, you were saying that's a safety thing to make sure that the Optimus isn't flailing and doesn't hit him in the head or something. So, but then he pushes him. So there's clearly, it's just like, we're going to do this, then this. And you can see it's very formal at the beginning. They don't really bow, but they kind of come to attention. And at the end, they do the same things. Very formal, all very
so it's
martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
so
I just
basically you have a Hollywood stuntman there, and all these scenes are choreographed, right?
Yeah,
You go through
yeah.
dozens and
Certainly
dozens of
choreographed.
times, and then suddenly it's like, when I do this, you can go ahead and fake hit me.
Yeah.
All right. So let's first of all, I think they're doing this because they're going to do something like this at November 6th, a shareholder meeting where Elon already said we're going to have the bots dancing. Maybe they'll do something like this. But Scott, can you just confirm that what we're watching here is, first of all, this is Gen 2, Gen 2.5?
No, Gen 2.
And yeah, quick question to
There
you
is
both.
there is a Gen 2.5 in the image, but way in the back.
Scott found it.
So basically in the upper right corner, if you look in the upper right corner, there is a Gen 2.5 bot there. So the one that's
How do you know the
suspended
difference?
way over on the right.
How do you know
Because
the
I'm
difference?
skilled at this kind of stuff. Because
No.
as it plays through, I think it ends up moving around. You can see the front of the torso, so it's not right there in that image. I think if you go around, or maybe it's the one Optimus might be blocking it right now. I think it's behind Optimus. As Optimus moves, we're going to see another bot appear. That one right there. Okay. So if you look at that guy there, you see the torso, the upper torso.
So
It's what I call the bib torso. It goes around like it's wearing a bib, right? That is the one that we saw on the pilot production line. And as Optimus moves around, the forearms get revealed a little bit, and you can see the forearms do not have the normal black actuators there for the wrist. It basically is the hand that we saw catch the tennis ball. So that is the 2.5, the one that's been painted gold that everyone has been seeing running around, thinking it's V3. It's not V3.
Okay, quick question for you guys. Do both of you, just quick question. Do you guys think that they will show Optimus Gen 3 November 6th, the demo?
I think at least 2.5, right?
I don't. So you're a no, and then Scott.
Well, I just don't know that Gen 3 actually exists yet. I don't know. The problem is that I think a lot of Gen 3 is in the hand. So Scott is thinking about this a lot.
Chris Camello thinks so. I don't. I think that they should not show the Gen 3 at all this year until it's ready in production, and then show it off when you're already producing, 1,000 a month or something like that. But I think they might, because when they drop a video like this, they want to show you the progress.
Right. And I want to point out, the reason why I suddenly went like, oh, we got to do something about this today was I go like, wow, I saw this video this morning, and Lane, my wife, goes, oh, I already saw that. And I was like, holy crap, because she doesn't live in this world at all. And so I was like, okay, if she saw this video, that's big. So clearly we have to talk about it.
Yeah, my notifications are going off before the alarm clock went.
What's your answer, Scott? Do you have an answer? I want to go through
your question.
Yes.
My answer to that question? No comment.
Friggin' dude.
Oh,
all right.
Scott.
Here's what I'd like to do, guys. Is go through frame by frame and tell us what you see, because there's one point where the bot extends, and then I'd like to compare this to 5 other bots that have just dropped demos in the last month. So Scott, when you're watching this, so first of all, let's go through this. This is you guys are saying this is set up. Just faces, stance. Okay.
I make a note. Look, can we go back to the very, very beginning when
Yeah.
when again the guy in black, sorry, I don't know his name, when he crosses his arms and comes down, Optimus does not, which I was curious about because
Where are you
just
talking
keep
about? This
going,
one?
keep a
Yeah,
little
right
bit
at the beginning.
right at
And this is the beginning. Okay. He crosses
Yeah.
his arms.
Well, yeah, go a little further forward though.
Okay.
Okay, so they're doing their hand jive thing.
But
Now
look
it's
at
right
that.
after this. Yeah, it's
That was
very
pretty
cool.
quick.
It's
That's
very
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right after this,
Okay.
he goes, watch, he crosses his arms and Optimus doesn't. See?
Oh,
He just-
yeah.
real quick, he goes, "Vroom,
Yeah.
vroom," and like that, and Optimus does not. So-
At the very beginning, everybody thought this was teleoperated. He was just copying what this guy was doing.
no, because he
and-
does opposite moves. Because they actually,
Let's say it's the other way around. He is copying what Optimus is doing.
no, it's memorized. This whole thing is memorized. The whole thing.
That's
is
the whole thing. So the
It's a
reaction,
sequence.
it's not that Optimus is reacting to him. He's reacting to Optimus, which is giving you the impression that
Let's
it's the
take
other
a
way
look.
around.
Mhm.
All right.
Because
that
he's-
little dance there is kind of cute, right? Is that something
Yeah.
new? That the ability to do that,
Yeah, the
Scott?
bouncing is great. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that new, Scott? The ability to bounce like that, or we've
Uh,
never seen
yeah, I
anybody
mean,
do that.
that's just well, I think in the dance moves there was something very similar to this. So it's
Okay.
it's not that different than what we saw, in
He goes,
May.
come on,
with
get
some of the
me,
dance
get
moves.
me. That's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, for the martial arts aspect of it, the bouncing is important because you don't want to
Yeah.
get flat on your feet.
Now,
you
see,
wanna stay
you see
light.
that move. If you go back a little bit, you'll see that move. There was like almost blow struck. So again, this comes down to good stunt coordination. He was
Mhm.
not hit. He knew that was going to come.
Yeah.
And he was able to do that block, and he was able to make sure he was not hurt. So he was not surprised at all by that.
Scott, one of the things I want to ask you, because you and I have knew this for a while, the biggest problem, everybody thinks, oh, the bots are going to be at home or any day now. And we know that they're not, because these bots need to be cobot certified, which means that if a bot needs to be safe when it's near vulnerable humans like elderly, people in wheelchairs, children, and just want to let them move like that, because it's metal, you can break somebody's arm. Do you think that somehow this is not right? It was just programmed to not go through all the way and break his arm.
The guy in black, though, I think has light padding on. He clearly has
might
something
have
over
pads.
his wrist,
See-
and I think he's got a little bit of padding on his arms. That's my guess.
There
just to
could be a
safe.
couple things. These bots basically act like cobots, and there's two things that make a cobot safe. One is that they're designed to be a little bit soft. They limit their speed, but the other thing is the backdrive ability and the fact that they can sense a torque that is out of spec. So when there's a particular move, so for instance, he knows I'm doing an air move right now, and it already knows from that air move that this is exactly the torques I need to have. If for some reason I exceed those torques, you need to stop. And that's like a safety measure you can have. So if you actually hit him, you would have noticed that and then stop. Just like if I was like play fighting with you and we went that and I hit your arm, I wouldn't continue through. I would react. So they are able to do that. There's no doubt about it. That's one level of the safety that's going to be in there. But there's going to be two types of safety. First, there's going to be a certain amount of analog safety, which means these things just have to be inherently safe if they fall down on you. And the other is a digital safety to make sure we don't get in that situation that's going to fall down on you. And if it does, it will be very graceful about what it does. It tries to fall the right way rather than on you, away from you. And, just like when you're learning to drive, they say if you're going to get into an accident, rather than hitting the tree, look for something soft to make sure you don't hit a person, right? Those are your options you're going to go through. So it's going to be that same kind of decision logic that's going to be employed to make sure they are as safe as you can make them. But it's going to be a while before they are in the home.
Wow. Okay, and that push?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice that push right there. You see how the hands are fixed right there?
Yeah.
It
They
was
stop.
almost like that's
They
a signal.
pause. They
That's a
pause
signal.
before they do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So think about a scripted fight scene that you have in Hollywood. It's like the typical thing is that your partner says, okay, I'm going to do this right now. And you can go ahead and do this next move. And it's going to be safe.
I've
Because
actually
otherwise-
I've done a lot of choreography.
That's
over
contact.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that
And
point of
also he's put
contact, that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
And he
him
put his head
having
really
contact
close.
like
So if
Yes.
the bot did that, you can get hit right in the head, right? So
It
that
has
was-
to be choreographed just right. And you'll notice that the bot is at that point is not doing any moves. It's decided to be fixed. However, as soon as it starts losing balance, it now kind of kicks in. Oh, I have to try to correct my balance. And part of balance is you see the legs going back, but also your hands can start frailing. They become very important to being able to maintain balance. And that's where it got a little bit dangerous. Is you'll notice that Optimus's arm went up for two reasons. One, it was just inertia, like it's being pushed back. That's happening. And also there may have been a little bit. So it got kind of close to his head. But I guess they're used to it, and he probably has pretty good reflexes that he would have been able to make sure nothing happened. And again, you probably have at least one key-eyed operator back there and maybe on the other side that are ready to hit any sort of e-stop if something untoward starts happening.
Yeah. And then the leg extension, Scott, can you just take a quick look at this? Because, where am I? There, boom.
Yeah.
People said that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's so, it's balanced. It's, I try balancing on one foot, and, sometimes I can do it and sometimes I fall over. So yeah, it requires you having a certain amount of reaction and skill. So that's good to see. But that's what walking is anyways. You're at some point, 1 foot is off the ground. It's a controlled fall, and it does well. And
I just wanted to note that he's not wearing his standard shoes. Optimus, he's got, also the guy in black has Crocs on, which is crazy. I can't believe he's actually doing martial arts in Crocs, but anyway, notice that Optimus isn't wearing like the usual things, kind of look like really clunky looking shoes. And those are clearly more like flat sandal looking things that are underneath his feet. So a little bit different, maybe a little bit more balanced because it's a little bigger. Don't know.
Or just for the surface that it's on right now to make sure that they have the right kind of foot padding.
Yeah.
That's not going to be too slippery.
So this guy, he's obviously a Tesla AI robot engineer, and he comes over. What is he saying right there? He goes, what's that? Why is he saying, hey, the bot is supposed to do this and it didn't, or it did? It did it.
It did it, or there was something. It seemed like there was some concern on the push.
Yeah.
We don't hear everything that's being said, but this is a work in progress. So he probably just identified something that he was not happy with that you need to improve.
Yeah.
And it could be a minor thing because remember, these guys are detailed oriented.
Yeah.
And they're looking for very little things. And there's like, that was not quite right. We need to, and he's probably just raising that issue. So again, that's why I say he's not just a guy that's there for the standpoint of safety. He was observing exactly what the bot was doing the whole time.
You could even go back, if you look at it, it is possible. I'm not sure he's talking about this, but Optimus, his fists are up here and the guy's fists are down here. So right at the very end. And he might have been like, wait, it didn't go low enough. It should have been like, lower. Right. See, right. I don't know. So it's just, maybe it's even as that detail. It's just like a little tweak is like, how come his fist didn't go down farther? Yeah.
So if we look at the backdrop, you've got the wireless charger, right? Just a week ago, he had a visit, and then they showed the gold bot, and the gold bot just stood back there. It's just.
I don't think it's a wireless charger. I think it's plugged in because they always had that word kind of hang
plug there.
Yeah. They have something that they always hang off of. So that's what it looks like to me. I'm not sure if it's wireless or not.
Okay.
Because I thought I saw the same thing.
There's a fan.
There we go. Yeah. Got to keep him cool.
No, maybe the fan is pointing right at the wireless charger, right?
Oh, that's true. It could be a test one.
Yeah.
That they could be testing out.
Well, Scott, I'm more
keep it cool. Yeah. I mean, that's it.
Why are they hanging this spot? Look at that. That's a bad look. Poor dude.
Yeah.
Poor dude. He was bad.
Well, whenever they're working on it, they need to have that to be able to suspend the bot while they're fixing things. And the other thing is, once you turn the power off in these bots, they just fall down on the ground, right? So whenever they're turned off, they need to be suspended.
My suspicion was that the tether was possibly for the push, but even more so if they had to hit the e-stop, if they had to hit the kill switch and it collapsed, it would keep him from just completely falling on the ground, right? So if they were doing this, and Optimus like did some haymaker or something, and they're like, "Oh crap, we got to stop it now." There's flop on the ground.
There's tethers here. All of them are tethered, and so maybe
all of them are really tethered.
Pushing, they're pushing them to do stuff that they don't want to break because there's still a few of them that they don't want to.
Yes.
Now, and then there's X's. Look at that. There's spots to stand. That's
stage management right there, isn't it? Yes, exactly. So
you
can ask Brian White. He's in theater, and
this is the kind of stuff that we have like literally everywhere in theater and also in film, so you can hit your mark. So when you're doing actual fight choreography, a lot of times you have specific marks on the ground that you have to hit.
Yeah.
How do you compare it to this dude?
Well, that dude's a bit faster. So what we're seeing from Unitree is like maybe more impressive kung fu moves and able to jump and hop and, you know, lately doing a backflip off the wall. But Unitree has a distinct advantage in that they're only 4 foot tall and they don't have the baggage of having actual hands, which is something else, you know, is that requires additional mass and, you know, additional compute and everything else. When you're that much smaller, I mean, it's half the weight as a result. So even though it's because your volume kind of scales as the cube of your height. And so just scaling it down a little bit gives them a huge mass advantage. They're like 35 kilograms, which means the overall inertia and everything is much smaller. You don't need that much more power. You don't need a whole lot of power to be able to go fast. It's the old F equals ma, you know, it's like, if you both have the same acceleration and one of you has half the mass, you know, or let's say, no, you have the same force, half the mass, your acceleration is going to be twice, right? So you're going to be able to move a lot quicker.
Yep, exactly.
This is the Agibot. The first two we saw were both Unitrees. This is the Agibot. Oh my God, he's scary. That looks like
I know.
Lasers coming out.
Looks like the day the Earth stood still. If you just made him silver, he would look like the day the Earth stood still.
This looks like
one thing I wish we would see with Optimus is we've never seen Optimus get up off the ground. So that's two things I'd like to see is get up off the ground and also pick something up off the ground.
Yeah, but Scott, I've heard this theory that somebody said, I think you did. I think you told me this, which is you said that you're building a bot, but your purpose is to make it useful, make it do things. How often does it need to pick itself off the ground? That's really for demo purposes. All the legs are is just to take you from one workstation to another. And then when there, it's really all about the hands.
But occasionally they do fall down and you just want to make sure that they're able to kind of get up on their own. It doesn't have to jump up because we have seen these demos of these Chinese bots where they're claiming world records on how fast they can get up.
They're just like right up.
And actually, like the designs of a lot of them, the fact that they have that hip with that angle in there is so they can bring the legs around to be able to pop up really quickly. And that could be very useful, you know, in the boxing arena and stuff like that. But you're right, on the factory floor, job number one should be just don't fall, you know, focus more on not falling and not worrying about the idea that you've got to get up off the ground. If you have to get up off the ground, there are multiple ways. I mean, you can, all you have to do is be able to roll yourself over, get on your knees, push up with your hands, you know, get your legs up. It's a very slow way of getting up, but you can still get up.
Right.
This is Kepler.
Yeah. Kleptobot.
Yeah. The Kepler bot, as we all know. Now, it's an Optimus clone, as we all know. Almost exactly identical. They even show the parts list in here where you can see the roller screws and everything else, the planetary roller screws that they're using. So it seems like they are using very similar actuation strategy, and the end result is really disappointing. And I think I commented, this is what happens maybe when you copy the wrong person's homework. And that you really didn't understand what was going on and that it's not going very fast. And I don't know if this means we're going to have the same problem because Tesla doesn't walk very fast. We haven't seen Tesla going very fast. We have not seen Neura walking very fast. We have not seen Iron walking very fast. And we have not seen Apollo walking very fast. And what do they all have in common?
Linear actuators.
Yeah. Exactly.
Linear actuators. Yes. Yeah. The linear actuators that could really be slowing them down or preventing them from being able to have the same kind of speeds that we're seeing from everyone that's doing rotary. So this is LIMX, which is pretty interesting.
But Scott, let's hold on that for just a second, though, because that's why I said I was kind of impressed with watching Optimus in that latest video, is that it does move relatively quickly.
It's moving a little bit faster. Yeah.
I mean, you know, those kicks and stuff like that.
And those actuators are different. So if you look at Kepler, that's more or less the Gen 1 bot.
Yeah.
You know, and everything is organized the same way. Whereas Gen 2 is way more refined. You can see that those actuators are definitely second generation.
Just watch this kick here. Watch how fast this kick is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not super speed, but that's pretty fast. It's
That's fast.
definitely, it's not walking around like it's, you know, a toddler with a dump in its pants or something, right? It's a very
and it's more straight knee, because if you remember at first it was kind of squatted always down, but now they're able to get their policies that everyone is able to do the straight knee when they're walking around. But as we see with the Kepler bot, they're really not getting there. We're seeing all the others that are going rotary are pretty interesting. They're beginning to riff on what they want to do with the hip designs.
It's so creepy the way that thing gets up. It's so creepy.
Yeah.
Jeez. Also, these bots are going to kill these people. When they become intelligent, they're going to be like, you did what to us?
Yeah.
Jeez. Anyway. But again, like you said, Scott, this is a very, very small, it's a very small robot. Yeah, which is interesting, right? So it's not this is RL. I'm
trying to look at exactly what the waist design is on that one. That's the full 3'd off waist. For those kind of hits, it seems to be reasonably robust.
Yeah.
It's using the kidney waist, and those have some mechanical issues of longevity.
But damn, that's impressive though. Really impressive.
Yeah. That's very different. But again, remember, it's literally half the mass.
Yeah.
Well, let's put that in context though, right? So these bots out there, they're doing all sorts of demos. We're all like watching them go, wow, that's so cool. Look what it can do. But reality is, right? First of all, they have not proven that these things can actually, they're for demos. They made 10 of them maybe. They haven't shown that they can make 1 million of them. They don't show the durability of them. And then they don't have the brain and they don't have the hand. Elon himself said these 3 things are the things you need to be watching for. If they have the hands, like the full degrees, but also, this is where Ashok Elaswami's comment saying that they're merging the AIs together, both autonomy and this. You need all that data, do you not, to be able to train it to do all these things? Or can you just, do something like, I wanted to do this repetitive task and it's just as good?
Yes, you need a lot of it. And one of the things that I kind of pointed out is that at Coral this past week, there were a lot of papers talking about cross embodiment where people were training in one embodiment and something was working in another one that was just very, very different. Yeah. And it would seem to me, based on how things were before, is that Tesla's completely wasting their time training on the Gen 2 bot if Gen 3 is coming out, because they're going to have to start completely from scratch. It may be that they don't have to. It may be that a lot of things they're doing here are helping out quite a bit.
Right. Because if they can do it for the car and then they can do it for this, they can do it for any form factor. Basically, they just plug
there's still some tweaking. There's still some tweaking that has to happen because the form factor is a little bit different. But it shows that maybe that cross embodiment problem is not as difficult as everyone first thought. So you're not wasting all this time training the Gen 2 bots, which they have right now. They don't have the Gen 3s to go out and train. They have to train on something.
But also a lot of this is happening in reinforcement learning, and creating the proper reinforcement learning environment will transfer to Gen 3. In fact, they probably already have virtual Gen 3 bots in these training environments now, because they don't have to actually build it. They can do it in software. So I think that there's a lot of advantages, even if it doesn't directly transfer, to figuring out how to do RL, to figuring out how to incorporate human motion capture teleoperated data into that world to be able to run 1 million simulations to make sure that it works. So I think that if it does cross embodiment, that's like a cherry on top, but there's so many other foundational layers of things that they need to figure out that it's still hugely advantageous to be able to do that. But like you said, if you get cross embodiment, then it's just like, wow, extra bonus. Then we don't even have to start from scratch. We just move from where we are right now.
Yeah.
Can you guys speak a little bit more to what Ashok was saying about the, he said this, right? Just the beginning. Once the AI models for self-driving and Optimus unify, it's going to be fire.
So I did a video yesterday where I talked about a patent that Phil Dwan was actually lead author on the patent.
He's a Tesla AI engineer.
Yes. And specifically works on full self-driving. I don't know how much he works on Optimus, but it's a parking lot patent. And what it is a lower speed patent where it's doing, instead of standard occupancy networks, which are sort of like taking little cubes out of the world, which are literally about this big, about 33 centimeters on the side. instead of taking those as kind of binary on-offs, which gives you a very like kind of pixelated view of the world, it's doing it's called signed depth fields, and I explained it all in the video. But anyway, it allows you to do very, very smooth surface reconstructions. And as an added benefit, it can read a lot of stuff, like the stop that's written on the road, the little arrows, the parking places. It can see those things at a fairly high degree of resolution. And so that may be one of the things that they can incorporate into Optimus, is because
it can read
that. The ability to read signs, to literally look around and go like, oh, that sign says exit or something, I'm going to go that way because that's how I get the exit.
It says coffee pot.
Yeah, or coffee. Yeah, I mean,
Keurig is a coffee.
Yeah, so I need to put the little thing in the so exactly.
But let's think of the other way. Is that I've talked about before, the difference between FSD and Optimus is that FSD is not supposed to interact with the world, whereas Optimus is supposed to. However, there are times where Optimus is not supposed to interact with the world, and that is he's walking down a crowded sidewalk. Mm-hmm. It's the same problem. Mm-hmm. It's all these agents moving around with a mind of their own, and you want to navigate through without actually bumping into them at that point. Yeah. So you could imagine that that is one of the things that they want to be able to do, is that Optimus navigation will have the same level of robustness as FSD does, but at a different speed.
So the really fascinating part is we know for a fact, because Andrej Karpathy has talked about this, that the original Optimus brain was a direct transplant. It was like they took the brain out of Full Self-Driving.
That's how they started it.
Yeah, because he said, oh, it was walking around seeing cars and things like that. It didn't understand what it was yet. So clearly they've bifurcated, and now we have two different things. And I don't know what the exact plan is, but they're going
parking lots. Going through pedestrian areas, slow speed, stuff like that. Yeah. You have to read the visual cues. Mm-hmm. It's very different than driving on the highway.
And the human visual cues of like, come over here.
Oh, yeah. It's like, is the guy on the cell phone that's standing there actually walking across the street, or is he just on the cell phone? Yeah. I mean, these are things that confuse me. I was driving the other day, and there was a guy like that, and he was kind of at the crosswalk, but I couldn't tell whether his intent was to go there or he was just so focused on there. So these weird little things.
I have my unified AI too. My AI in here is unified. I go drive, and then when I'm driving, I'm really just one with the car. So I mean, I can the car. I do this, and the car turns left. I do that. Right. You know what I mean? And now I'm in this embodiment, and I'm unified with this embodiment. So I mean, is that?
Yeah, I've been learning to fly recently, which is an object lesson. I'm an old man now. And so the ability to incorporate those skills is much slower than it used to be. And it's a fascinating thing, because when you get to that stage where you're thinking through, okay, now I push this, now I do this, that doesn't work. You have to, like you said, you have to become one with the airplane or the car or whatever. And since I learned to drive a car at 15, 16, it's like, it's just so deep in there. I don't even think about it.
It's muscle memory.
Yeah. But at the point where you have to be like, oh, what do I do next? That's a bad place to be, because you need to be able to react instantly and instinctively, and getting over that sort of hump is very important.
So how big of an advantage is this, that they're going to unify all the work they did with self-driving with Optimus? And from our understanding, I can't name one other company, maybe NIO, maybe Huawei, that have both cars and really have the data maybe to unify the two. I think if that turns out to be a very important strategy.
I think what Scott just mentioned, that the cross embodiment thing, maybe it goes even further than just one form of humanoid to another, but
it does.
A literal car to a humanoid, maybe that cross pollination has massive advantages that we just don't know about.
Any last thoughts, Scott, about this video?
None that I can think of, except that I think my overall comments were, it's rather surprising to see that everyone wants to focus on kung fu fighting and
why
actually showing us doing anything useful. Well, I think it's really quite simple, because boxing and everything like that, you don't need to have hands. It's not an issue of dexterity. Right. It's full body motion control, everything else. And there are a lot of Unitree bots out there. I mean, Michael Joy, who's in one of these robot fighting clubs, he's got a stable of like 40 Unitrees.
Wow.
So that might be why some researchers are finding it takes them like 6 months to get the order now, because like a bunch of these other people bought. Now he's on the record as saying the robots will be funny before they're useful. So he realizes that right now that we're not at that stage, and that you can actually make money with entertainment, because we do actually pay comedians and entertainers money, whether we consider that useful work or not, and we actually pay them handsomely sometime. So in many cases, if you get bots that most people consider to be disposable anyway, because these things break down pretty quickly, you may as well get someone to pay for the disposability by just using entertainment and going in. Now, it seems to be attracting a lot of other people. There may be some use to it of really seeing how robust it is, because there already was battle bots where people are trying to figure out how do you harden things, how do you make motors that are able to handle all these things. It's punishing. So you need durability tests on all these bots anyways. And what better way to find out how long can it last in the ring when you start taking a lot of blows before suddenly your harmonic drive took the blow. It's like, whoop, it's no longer functional. Whereas someone else goes in with a cycloidal and it takes a bunch of pounds, and it's takes a licking and keeps on ticking. So you may find some things like that. So since we don't have dexterity and useful work, this is where everyone is going. But to me, it's disappointing, because we were kind of told that, by the end of the summer, we would see these things in plants. Right. We'd see them in the factory already, and we're not. Unfortunately, we're seeing them in the boxing ring instead.
Yeah.
Well, so you think that this is all just so first of all, it's not teleoperated. Elon said this is not teleoperated. He said it's AI, but you think that it's choreographed. And so does this not tell you that, yes, it is ready for the factory?
There's no dexterity involved there whatsoever. It doesn't need to have hands. You could just be putting boxing gloves on there. It's not manipulating anything or doing, it's showing some progress in some areas, but we have yet to see it on the floor, picking up sheet metal and dropping into place and doing it for a shift. It's not doing useful work yet. Nothing is. So in some ways, my disappointment is it's almost like you're letting Unitree control the narrative here. Everyone is reacting. Everyone is following Unitree. It's like, go out there and show us that you actually can do useful work. And so, everyone's kung fu fighting.
Okay, this is good. Did you answer the question, Scott? Is Optimus Gen 3 going to make an appearance on November 6th or sometime this year? I say no, but John said no.
I said 2.5.
Chris Camillo said yes. Gen 3. He thinks absolutely. Why? He thinks why? Because in the invite to November 6th, the first image, the image is actually Optimus.
Yeah. So that means Optimus will be there, but I don't think that's the Gen 3 Optimus spot necessarily on that image. So that's a weird breadcrumb.
Do you have that, Herbert? I don't have the invite.
Yeah.
No, I don't have the photo, but I mean I can look for it right now. But
anyway. That was that is that a more recent image, or is that the one that's
that's no. Yeah, a couple of weeks old. This is the shareholder.
A couple of weeks old. Yeah, I mean that just means that Optimus is going to be a focus. They're going to be doing at least what they did at We Robot. That for sure. So you at least will have the Gen 2 bots there. I don't think I'm not sure you'll have the Gen 2.5s, because I'm not sure if they, we haven't really seen them with the hands on it, but there will probably be something that the question is whether V3 makes an appearance. Yeah. And based on information that we've heard, it's not designed, they're still struggling with the design. That was a comment of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That would indicate that there is not something that's ready. So based on that, you could probably assume probably not, but Optimus will definitely be there. Why not? I mean, it's like a year ago, they had a grand party with at least 40 of them running around with.
That was just about exactly a year ago now.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. Thank you. That's
so I don't know that there's anything necessarily different between that head and the others. Is that an Easter egg of some sort?
Yeah. So Herbert,
some people read in that a different face, that the display may be a little bit more reactive. Who knows?
Right. Herbert, I was thinking about the question of why the kung fu fighting over doing useful work. useful work is, I mean, just look at the reaction. You've got millions of views on things like this. You got millions of views on Unitree. Exactly what Scott said. You said funny, but let's call it entertaining. They'll be entertaining before they're useful. And right now they're entertaining already. People are clearly like, holy crap, look at these things running around a track or boxing with each other or doing kung fu with, a guy. That's entertaining, and it's drawing eyeballs even before they can do anything useful.
Yeah, and
people are buying tickets to these events. Yeah.
No. So the other bots, they're doing that for the reasons you just said. For Tesla, no, they're doing this because they're preparing for November 6th. They want to show probably kung fu, probably dance. And they're teaching that. That's what they're doing. Elon's there. He takes a video and he immediately just posts it. He doesn't even think twice. He just goes and posts it up there. Yeah. That's all this is. This is Gen 2.5, whatever it is, Gen 2, sorry. It's just they're just training it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying now, by the way, that I still think that it's going to be Gen 2.5, not 3, because they're training this. They're training the 2.5. So,
or maybe even 2.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the 2. We're not seeing the 2.5 really being trained, and we haven't really seen 2.5 with the arms. So that video that we saw was with mannequin hands. Several of them is the 2.5, but without the full arms on there, because it's probably meant to have the 22 DOF hand, and that seems to be where the challenge is. Doesn't mean they don't have any around there. And I pointed this out before. If you go to an Optimus, which is just designed to walk around in the office with no lanyards, and it falls down, you're breaking the hands, because that's the first thing that comes down. And if those hands are expensive, so if the point is to do large language model integration with Optimus and have it walk and know to go to the kitchen and go over to someone's cubicle and do something like that, unfortunately, it can't pick anything up because it doesn't have the hands for doing it. But in that case, they probably want to be extra careful that you're not damaging an expensive piece of equipment. Doesn't mean there isn't some other place where they don't bring the guests to, where they actually have it fully fitted out. And again, Elon's not going to leak anything that he doesn't want people to see before. So we have no idea whether there's going to be a Gen 3. It could be that we get a first glimpse at the design. Maybe the first prototype is out there for everyone to have a look at. We just don't know. There was also a post from Larry regarding supply chain in China a few days ago, talking about what the potential supply chain is and what all the manufacturers over there were supposed to use as targets. That I'm not sure how much stock I would put into the legitimacy of that information, because it was from another post. It could have just been random gossip that people were kind of picking up and putting on in there.
Right.
That's one data point, but again, it's a data point you have to be very skeptical about because it's not official.
Okay. Hey, Scott, is it true that just my a comparison, I just went and showed you the last videos. This might be the first time, though, that you actually saw a human physically interacting with a bot. Now, we've seen lots where they're hitting with a stick, or the last one I just showed where they're kicking it, but an actual, a real touching and being right in there. Do you think that's true? That's the first time? That's a difference?
I mean, we've seen so many different dance routines and everything. It's really hard to draw the line. It's the first time we've seen it with Optimus.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you, guys. Yeah. That was great. So this is the Optimus bot demo that they dropped last night by Elon. Elon dropped it, and you can see that the bot is not teleoperated. It is AI. And then Ashok Goswami, who's in charge of the bot program and the autonomy program, said they're working to unify the AI for autonomy plus the bot as well. And I think it's impressive, and I think it moves fast. It's got agility. That we were always, we've seen the Optimus dance already. So yeah, good progress, right? I mean, that's great to see this.
It's good to see.
And remember, this shareholder meeting is like only a month away.
Yeah, it's a month away.
Is today the 6th? It's November 6th.
No, it's the 4th.
So,
yeah.
It's November 4th, I thought it was the 6th.
Today is October 4th.
Today's the 4th.
Oh, the 4th.
The
it's
meeting
November
is November
6th. Right. Okay, so it's a little bit more than a month. A month plus 2 days.
Close enough.
So have you got your tickets yet?
No, none of us have been invited, but we,
No one's been
the goal
invited,
is, Yeah. No one's been told that they're
No one's going to
invited.
get their tickets until 2 weeks before. It's always the
2 weeks. It'll be at 24 hours. That's what it usually
probably 24
is.
hours. Yeah. The first will be 2 weeks before. So
But I've already booked my flight and the place for us cyberbulls to stay at, and so we've already got ourselves ready. So I'm gonna beg really heavily. Yeah.
So say we all.
So
Yeah,
please just go. We'll have a good time together. I think it's going to be a very important meeting. It's going to be a big one. It's the big one. There's 12 proposals that we're voting on, and as far as we're knowing at this
and
point,
don't
it's
forget
going to
to
be
vote.
fun.
If you're a shareholder, don't forget to vote. That's also important. So yeah.
Please do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, John Gibbs. Follow him at Dr. Know-It-All 16 on X, and he has his YouTube channel as well. Follow him there. And then Scott Walter, the legendary. Thank you for both of you guys, expert panel members today. Appreciate you. Bye, everybody.
thank you, Herbert.
Bye-bye.